From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of afternoons at LALATE with incredible great details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this recording, we'll go over first the monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats may actually be giving you more months of checks than initially thought. Wow. And then we cut to the fourth stimulus recon and why the fourth stimulus recon will be giving you other monies on top of the stimulus checks. I'll go over what the Democrats represent they're doing, and it's all really incredible great news. Then we go over the voting process, and I'll go through how they do the vote, which is more critical than when they do the vote, and I'll give new clarity as to what you should anticipate for all this week. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up lifetime if you are a beneficiary. This is the news you've been waiting for a very long time. Raising your benefits up and why the benefit lift in December will be astronomically more than anything that SS200 from Elizabeth Warren was to give you, plus another stimulus check. And then we cut to the big money that you need to get because viewers are killing it, and viewers are getting upwards of $23,000 on this channel. It's your day to get as well. It's a big afternoon, it's a big day. Let's get to the details, starting right here on LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? I hope you're having a beautiful day. How's the weather where you are? It has been good, but a little bit muggy here. It's been cooler, but it feels sort of like June gloom here in Southern California. Near the beach, there's a nice and onshore breeze coming on currently. So long as that breeze is there, it always cools you down. But I've seen some of the comments. People say it's really hot where you are right now. So jump in the live chat. I want to see where you're tuning in from. And how's the weather? In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, some great news as we go over that monthly stimulus check that the Democrats represent they're going to give you. We're going to go over how many checks and why the number of checks may be increasing. Then we'll go to the fourth stimulus recon and what those Democrats represent they're giving you in that recon and why there could be a lot more money for you. A big surprise of details. Then we go to the voting process and we go over how they call the vote and what you need to know to understand how this gets to the finish line and the breaking news for all this week as well. And then we cut to fifth stimulus, which will be really the big saving grace for people who have waited for SS200 for Elizabeth Warren not to happen. This will pay you a lot more money and will pay you a lot lifetime. Plus, give you a potential another stimulus check. Oh my goodness. And finally, we end with the big money the viewers continue to get, like Nisi, who got $23,000. It's your day to get $20,000 as well. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America, live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. I'm next back with you with evenings LALATE at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Stay with this video, it'll automatically take you there. Then overnight's crypto, then evening's crypto, and then Sirloin back in his new hit show at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also like this video. 3,000 likes. Every like helps. It also delivers some lobster sauce. No, it does not. We don't do lobster on this channel. I don't even like lobster. Do you like I don't. I don't like lobster. I don't fish for lobster in Kentucky. So no, I don't do it. Delivers a side of popcorn. And consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and the pinned comment. Let's get into that monthly stimulus check right now. Very fascinating details. The fascinating details about this stimulus check is the number of checks at issue. When we look at the checks and we're looking at the proposals, they're both monthly, but the House could potentially be the game changer. Let's see why. House provides under the House bill a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. The Senate proposal is a stimulus check from July to December in their proposal. Let's look at the monthly payouts. House, $1,000 a month after the first month of 2000. Senate, the amount is monthly unknown, but word on the street is the amount is delicious. It's so delicious. I can't find the graphic. Here it is. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. Wow, now that's delicious. That is per person. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Now let's go back and understand some of the nuance of what's going on when we look at this and when we look at that. Well, it was a week ago. where legislators were thought to say, well, the pandemic's over. Let's just give you 1 year of checks, which would be $13,000 under the House proposal. But now, a week later, there's many beliefs that the pandemic is not viewed over because of Delta. That is because LA County says it's not over. Warren Buffett says the pandemic's not over. The airlines says it's not over. Well, if it ain't over, then the House would be providing pandemic monthly stimulus checks plus 1 year, which would be more than $13,000. And let's compare that to this over 6 months. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate. House or Senate right now. I see you vote in it. And tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. House or Senate, vote right now. And your opinion might be different than a week ago. I know mine is. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? You do. The Democrats represent. They're giving everyone a fourth stimulus check who got a third one. Single individuals, $75,000 or less. Democrats represent. They want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less. Democrats represent. They want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of four. Democrats represent. They're going to give you a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Democrats represent, you would get a fourth stimulus check as well. The fourth stimulus check would come monthly. It would not be income, so it's not taxable. It would be the same amount of a stimulus check for adult dependents as everyone else. And the fourth stimulus check would not come in waves. So don't wave at the check because it doesn't wave back at you. And it's not a rude check. It's just not a waveable check. Hey, check, what's going on? I see you trying out that San Francisco hairstyle. It doesn't work for you either. It doesn't work for anyone. Doesn't work for her. It doesn't work for you. What? Excuse me? Rude. How rude? It's just rude check. It's a rude check and also has a bad hairstyle now. That's what happens when you go to San Francisco hairstylist. Yeah, the fourth stimulus check would come in the month of July for the month of July, and then the month of August for the month of August. They can still get you that check in July. Later in this video, we'll be going over how something gets to the finish line, how the voting process works, and so you understand the details at issue. But first, let's get a preview of what's coming up next. In the second part of this video, we go over the recon, which is the fourth stimulus reconciliation that has in there, the Democrats represent, the stimulus check. We'll be going over how the recon works and why it's in a better situation today. In the third part of this video, we go over what you should anticipate for work product from the congressional leaders this week for recon and for bipartisan, so you get an idea and roadmap of what's at issue. And then a preview of the second half of this video. It's fifth stimulus and raise your benefits up a lifetime. We'll see why those benefits are raised up so much and why it's just incredible relief for my wonderful viewers on benefits. But first, let's get some money. Boy, this is what this channel does. This channel, 1, does not track checks. 2, does not catch the calendar. 3, does not time the time clock. This channel cashes you checks. And I've been doing that since April of last year. I got viewers $25 million of EIDL loans to save their business, their homes, and their employees' homes. And then in fall of 2020, it was just like now. We were waiting for second stimulus to happen. It was not happening. It was the Christmas holidays. Eventually, second stimulus checks came after the holidays. So what did I do? I stepped up and I got viewers $250,000. Viewers like Tyrone got rent of $15,000 for his family of Boston, paid it all the way to next spring. It just changed his livelihood, and he was not an anomaly. It happened day after day. Well, you have been killing it, and if you have not, I want you to do it right now. Let's go over what's been happening with other viewers. Nisi got $23,000. She's probably in the live chat. She got 3 items for this channel. She got over $20,000 of rent. She got utilities. She got Snap. Art, he's a longtime viewer. He got rent, utilities, and Snap. John, he got $12,000 for Snap. We have viewers daily getting somewhere between $10,000 to $12,000 of rent, when I think you can generally get $5,000. I'm wrong. They're getting $3,000 utilities when I think it's about $400, $500, $600. I'm wrong with that. It's a lot more money. And they're getting generally about $5,000 to $7,000 of Snap, which is just incredible. So get that pen and paper ready because virtually every viewer is eligible for this money. What is this money? It's third stimulus. And this is how you have to really be laser focused. When third stimulus was passed, it had a $1,400 stimulus check. But I told viewers, yeah, you'll get a stimulus check, but you also qualify for tens of thousands of dollars. Would you rather have $14,000 or $1,400? Viewers understood and they became Purple Hawks, and away we go. So get that pen and paper ready. And if it must be a Crayola crown, remember, this is not muddled. This is not murdered. This is not Casey anything. I'm sorry, Canute. They only ask me if this is Casey Royals, but they never ask me on Sundays if that's STL Cardinals red. I see what you do. I see the trickery of the color and the team alliance. I see it. So get a pen and paper, but I am wearing Crayola blue today. So here we go. We're going to reach out to different places that have different eligibility. And if one says no, reach out to the next. They all have their own different eligibility. And here we go. You're going to reach out to City Hall, your City Housing Authority, your County Hall, your County Housing Authority, your State Hall, your State Housing Authority. You want to reach out to each. Every now and then there's someone that says, I reached out to one and I got to know. You got to reach out to each because each has their own eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next. They will say yes. And how much can this get? About $5,000 for rent. What are the keywords you say? You say rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus, or Mitch's wonderful rap career and mixtape. They don't know that. They don't want to know that. No one wants to know that. Not even the radios want to know that. So there you go. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this wonderful money. But let's cut to the next pot of money. It's SNAP. There we go. SNAP is coming from the federal government, and it's money for your food. And John got $12,000 last week for this. Wonderful. Congratulations, John. Viewers are constantly getting $5,000 to $7,000 for this. If you got a stimulus check, why would you not get SNAP? Why would you not get SNAP? I used to make a lot of videos, but I haven't said this in a while. So let me just say it quickly. People that say something like, I have a car in the driveway, I have to fix the carburetor, it's $200. Why aren't you getting SNAP? SNAP will pay you $200 a month and for your food, and for that $200 you saved on the food, you can now have $200 and go fix the carburetor. So you have to balance your budget accordingly. If the federal government is giving you money, get as many pennies as you can get from this federal government. They want you to have it, so go get it. How much is a SNAP? It's a lot. Where do you get it? Department of Agriculture. It pays for your food. Department of Agriculture, reach out to them. And how much? A family of four can get upwards of $16,000 a year for SNAP. Wow. Now, I want you to understand, they're viewers every single day. Jump in the live chat if you got any money for this channel. Jump right in there right now and post what you got. And post what rent you got. Post what utilities you got. SNAP. There's viewers every day saying getting $350, $450 a month for SNAP. Do the math. That's a lot of money. That's $6,000. So a family in four Hawaii, $16,000 a year. Why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raised your benefits up 15%. So go get it. Gail got it for herself. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. You're killing it. I'm killing it. We're only, 13 minutes of this video. And we've gotten $16,000 for SNAP, $5,000 for rent. Well, we got another pot of money, and it's starting right now. It's money coming back from your state. The states have been ordered to return money back to you due to computer error and unemployment benefits. States had overpaid you due to computer error and then ordered the money back, and you gave it back. Well, the federal government said, no, it was your money to keep, and now has ordered the states to return the money back to you. Wow. One viewer got $5,000 from this. So where is it landing? Direct deposit to the account you have on file. When? Well, reach out to your state and say, hey, state, where's that check due to computer error for my unemployment benefits? And can you track it with a computer that actually works this time? And if you've gotten any money from this channel, jump in the live chat right now, whether it's Nisi or Art or Rob or John or anyone that has gotten money, just start posting it because it inspires me. It inspires other people to get the money. It also updates us about the numbers. We see the numbers are much bigger and bolder than we ever thought. And let's get to that last pot of money. It's the money coming back from IRS. Congratulations to the viewers who got this. And if you got it, jump in the live chat post as well. It is the refund check from IRS. Let's go over how much, when, where, and how you're going to get it. Margaret got it, Cod got it, and also Michael got it recently. Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000 of taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit. When? In the mail. It's otherwise not in direct deposit in the mail. I just messed it up. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yes, with better verbs than I just used. Yes, you can track it. Go to irs.gov, set up a username and password, and then go in there and do a transcript search on irs.gov. It'll reveal stuff you never knew. It will reveal stuff that you really did not want to know. It'll reveal the tax return you file, the taxes you paid. It'll reveal Mitch's mixtape track list. If you think you know one of the songs on Mitch's rap album, post it in the live chat right now. Go ahead. Just go ahead. Just post it right now. And then who is Mitch's backup singer on his upcoming album? That, and also when you're getting a refund check. Wow. Can we get some more wonderful news? We can, as we go into the second part of your forced stimulus check update of 2021 starting right now. So your forced stimulus recon is in a much better place than it was a week ago. What is recon? Reconciliation. Forced stimulus reconciliation. What is a recon? A recon is written by the Democrats for the Democrats. The lead writers are the House subcommittee members. The sub-writers who are part of the discussions are the Senate subcommittee members. And what happened? Well, 3 weeks ago, over 3 weeks ago, there was a clear problem. Pelosi, Schumer, the president, and Jalopal all identified the problem. The problem was your recon was bundled at that point with roads and bridges and roads, and it was too big. So their determination at that time, and they were right, based upon pooling their caucus, was that if they called a vote for this monstrosity of a recon that included roads and bridges at the time, it would not pass. So everyone that wondered, why are they calling the vote in May? Why aren't they calling the vote in early June or mid-June? It would not pass. So finally they came up with a device, and their device was to spin off the roads and bridges into its own proposed bill, its own spin-off TV series called Nash Bridges. No, called Bipartisan. Roads and bridges were divested, spun off, taken apart, taken out of the recon, so that we were left with two paths, recon and bipartisan. Your money stayed exactly where the recon had it, in recon, with climate, with CARES economy, with EV, a lot of wonderful stuff. But roads and bridges was separated. Why was this so wonderful for you? Ultimately, you want something to pass. You don't want something to not to pass. Yeah, it just always sort of baffles me when the people just want to vote. No, you don't want to vote on something that's not going to pass. Let's recap. You call a vote on something that you think is not going to pass, and it doesn't pass. Then what happens? You're done. You're done. Go home. Can you do it over again? No, you can't. Did you lose a recon? You did. Sorry, Charlie. That's it. It's like the tuna commercial. Sorry, Charlie. Sorry, Chuck. So you can't do it wrong. And by divesting the bipartisan, the roads and bridges out of the recon, it made it passable. Passable meaning if you called it for a vote, it could now pass. So who confirms this? The GOP. What? Yeah, both the Democrats and the GOP confirm that the recon was not passable before, but is now passable. In an op-ed released late last week on a conservative publication, the op-ed writer wrote much the same. The higher the price tag was for the recon before, the harder it was to pass. But by allowing the Democrats to remove partisan spending from the recon and put it into the bipartisan, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller. That's obvious. But then it goes on. It says, in other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon easier to pass. Well, there you go. Was Mitch set up? Of course he was. Then it goes on and says, there was nothing gained by the GOP by blessing the bipartisan because now it gave the recon a path to the finish line. Well, there you go. That was number one. Number two, the second great thing was that suddenly, now that roads and bridges were out of the recon, which take a lot of money. Roads and bridges and roads are a lot of money. The recon shrunk dramatically. It was a topic of a beautiful movie, a comedy called Honey, I Shrunk the Recon, starring Rick Moranis. Get on DVD. So the recon shrunk dramatically. That allowed the progressives with just a recon that was all progressive checks for you to now add some more checks. Now, I don't mean blow it right back to the same price of what it was before, but just, grow it a little bit more. And now the progressives have absolutely started to back up the U-Haul truck. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, that's a U-Haul truck. Dumping in wonderful progressive policies to give you more checks. More about those checks in a second. So the progressives actually confirm this. The progressives caucus has been repeatedly meeting with the White House officials to ensure that the recon goes big enough and bold enough for them. And then Representative Ilhan Omar confirms what's been going on. Democrat progressive out of Minnesota. We progressive Democrats have a commitment that regardless of what happens with the bipartisan, Congress will give us a recon that goes as far as we want it to go. Wow, now that's wonderful news. Now remember, it's not beefing it up to the point in which it's not passable. It's just adding some more stuff in there. Wonderful news. What is the other stuff? Let's get to that other stuff now. So when we're dealing with a recon that's being written by a House subcommittee, and I'm going to get to that House subcommittee in a second, House Ways and Means, House Budget, I'm going to get to them in a second. They don't have a lot of clarity to the public of what they're doing. They do it through closed doors. There's not transparency. So it's not like they tweet out or they appear on broadcast news and say, hi, I wrote 10 pages. Here are my 10 pages I wrote. They don't do that. And so we have to keep on pushing to ensure that the stimulus checks get in there. They say they're writing stimulus checks in there. I'll get to their letter in a second. But what else are they putting in there? They're not going to give you a lot of updates as they go along, but we get these sort of slide comments here and there. The president has said money for seniors, money for children, money for medicine, money for electric vehicles, and money for for climate. Checks and checks for people, not checks for the government, checks for people. And so what does Representative Richie Torres, Democrat out of New York, progressive, say? He wants checks for people for housing. So, and people have been asking me wonderful questions. I love your questions. They've been saying, what type of housing checks? Don't know. You think they maybe have student loan debt stuff in there? Maybe. Never know. Will they have something for FPUC or PUA? Don't know. Maybe. So you never know with these people. Just don't know. You may look at the finality and say, they extended PUA, it extended UI, PEUC. Don't know. We really don't know how robust it could be. But here is Representative Richie Torres. He says that he's putting housing in there. So he's pretty blunt about it. I will refuse to vote for any bill that fails to be linked to the larger recon. And then he says he will be putting that housing in there. Wow. Now, how can they get away with this? Because it's their recon. Let's recap. The recon, fourth stimulus recon, is written by Democrats for Democrats. GOP has nothing to do with it. They don't touch it. They don't write it. All they do is vote against it and then lose. Sorry, Mitch. So that's all that the recon, they have nothing to do with the recon. Who writes it? Lead writers of the House subcommittee. The secondary writers are the Senate subcommittee. And who are the protectors? Jalapa. Jalapa told us before the divesting of the bipartisan from the recon that she was told by the president to protect the progressive policies of the recon. Why? Because the only things in the recon at this point are progressive checks for you. There's nothing else in the recon except checks, and more checks for different types of things across the American landscape. And Jalapa was told that the president told Jalapa to keep on doing what she's doing. Brian Schatz, Democrat out of Hawaii, progressive, also said that the White House has repeatedly told him that the progressive priorities in the recon are the White House's own priorities. Well, they are. Remember, climate is progressive, CARES economy is progressive, as is monthly stimulus checks. And how did we get to this wonderful spot? We got it from Jalapa. Jalapa had written a letter to Schumer saying, call the vote. Now, that letter was signed by 12 House Democrats who are among 100 plus House Democrats. Do you hear that word? 100? It's not just two people. It's 100 plus who wrote the president a letter saying, we're putting monthly stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus package. That's just not one person in a building. That's a lot of people. They wrote that and they said they're doing it. So we are holding them to their words. Then came the most incredible, wonderful letter. 7 House Democrats wrote the president a letter saying we're going to be putting forced stimulus checks monthly. They use the word monthly in the forced stimulus recon. Now, who are these people? They're the people who write the recon. They actually write the recon. The House Ways and Means Subcommittee is one of the branches of the House subcommittees that's responsible for writing the recon. And in this case, they're also solely responsible for writing stimulus checks in the recon. Well, what did they say? They say they're putting monthly reoccurring stimulus checks in the forced stimulus recon. Now let's recap. These are the same people who wrote the third stimulus check recon. You just got $1,400. They also represent they're doing a fifth stimulus recon check for next year. Oh my goodness. And they also wrote your first and second and third stimulus check, and they have nothing to do with the GOP. If these people want stimulus checks in there, they can put them in there. And wow, can we top that? We can. As we had new news today about the country of Ireland and 2 other countries whose names disappear me. But we have breaking news today that all those countries have now signed on the dotted line to raise the global minimum corporate tax rate. The breaking news this morning is that the efforts of the president 3 weeks ago have now paid off. The president has anchored forced stimulus to the edge of the finish line by getting foreign countries to agree to a global minimum corporate tax rate, which today was confirmed, signed on the dotted line officially, even though they met overseas 3 weeks ago and did an informal, publicity signing. The only country that is a holdout at the moment is Ireland. Here's what you need to know. The forced stimulus recon is paid by corporate taxes. And the president said that if I was raising corporate taxes, he's worried that businesses may move overseas to find a lower corporate tax rate. So he reached out to those other countries overseas, said, raise the corporate tax rate. And they said yes. But we'll sign on the dotted line, in December. His staff said to Mr. President, let's go meet them now, Mr. President. And you can bring some of Jill's potpourri, and they like to see you. You drive on the other side of the road, in their opinion, but they still want to see you. So he went and saw them 3 weeks ago and had those countries sign on the dotted line unofficially. Now the official statement is confirmed today. And one holdout, of course, is Ireland, as I just said. This is incredible because now fourth stimulus recon is easier to pass and easier to write because the international provision about international corporate taxes is no longer needed in the fourth stimulus recon. It's repetitive. You don't have to say it again. It's in the international agreement, making it easier. Write fourth stimulus recon and anchor fourth stimulus to the edge of the finish line to get it passed. Wow, can we top that? We can. As in the third part of this video, we go over the voting process. We go over what it takes for something to become a bill, what it takes for something from the bill to become a law. We'll go over what's happening with Congress this week. We'll go over the calendar, and we'll go over some of your questions you've dropped in the comments since yesterday. And we'll cut to fifth stimulus recon, which is absolutely wonderful because it raises everyone's benefits lifetime. But what's more wonderful than that? The volunteers. If you've been in the live chat and you have not yet posted the money you've gotten, post it right now, whether it's rent, utility, SNAP, or internet. And if you post it daily, post it again. If you're seeing those people posted and you have had difficulty finding the money, don't worry. That's the spirit of this channel. People helping people. I want to see people helping people. I see a lot of people thinking about themselves who are not members and not subscribers, sort of passing through and then sort of think about themselves. This is not the spirit of this channel. People helping people. Imagine the volunteers spending hours of time helping people. So please, you lean on the volunteers for help if you need them. How do you find them? Open the description of this video. Go down the description and you'll find the volunteers. They're separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you'll see an emoji of a house. It's not Nancy's house. It'll just be an emoji of a house. It'll have a link to the community page, news.lalate.com/community. Go over there and you'll find the volunteers. They'll help you get rent, utilities, internet, and SNAP. Now, they cannot, fix your car, mow your lawn, take out the garbage, do your roof, get you a new hairstyle. They can't do that either. They can do about almost everything else. And here's a little bit about them. I'll be back in 60 seconds with you with big breaking news about your fourth stimulus in just 1 second. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter and Instagram individuals, reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on this big afternoon's broadcast with breaking news you're going to hear for the first time ever on this afternoon's LALATE in the second half. More about forced stimulus and, of course, the excitement about this stimulus with raising your benefits up a lifetime. And this is LALATE. Subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Hit that subscribe button. I want you part of this family. Jump in the live chat and hit that subscribe button. Like this video. Every like helps. It helps in the algorithm rankings. It also delivers some you'll play. And consider becoming a member. Stay on this video. It'll automatically take you into Evenings LALATE, which is coming up at 5 o'clock tonight. It's going to be a massive recording. Oh my goodness. Then we come after that with Overnight's Crypto, Evenings Crypto, and then Sirloin back nightly at 8 o'clock. Let's get right into that. This stimulus starting right now. This stimulus is so wonderful for one very key reason. SSI, SSDI, VA reform. It's just wonderful. My viewers were promised SS200 by the president. It never came to fruition. And this is the replacement that pays a lot more money. So trust me, I am staying on this news story. I am not leaving my viewers, and I'm not leaving this news story. The incredible relief of this benefits comes this fall. But before I get to the details, let me tell you what else is in fifth stimulus. Number one, the president will be having a fifth stimulus check in there. Who are the authors of that? The House Ways and Means Subcommittee again. They wrote the president saying when we do fifth stimulus recon in the fall, we will put a fifth stimulus check in there. When? This would be a 2021 check. Would it overlap with the fourth stimulus? No. Next. The details of the president dedicating $1 billion to Social Security Administration is incredible. And while it's not a fifth stimulus item, it's something happening right now, it tees into fifth stimulus because the president wants to ensure that checks go out on time. We had enough problems with checks not going out on time with third stimulus. I'm the only one that mentions this, as though no one seems to remember it. It was horrible. We had all these waves of checks. Nothing was coming on time. It's all ending. He's ramping up the whole system with a $1 billion cash infusion for computers and processes and payroll and staffing. Finally, what's important to know is that if you've not gotten a first or second or third stimulus check, you need to do two things. File a tax return, number one. And number two, on that tax return, request the missing stimulus check. There's actually a line on the tax return. If you haven't done both things, reach out to a tax preparer. All right, let's turn to why fifth stimulus is so important. It is that SSI and SSDI reform. And that SSI and SSDI reform under fifth stimulus heats up with several items. First, they'll raise your benefits up. Then they will apply a benchmark. That benchmark is geared to a new economic indicator, and it's inflation. So let's go over how this calculates and how it plays out. With Wall Street closed on Monday, there has not been a lot of economic data, but that's coming out later this week. Your benefits will be raised up a lifetime. The asset limit will be removed. The inflation benchmark will be applied. Then the marriage penalty will go away, and the income exclusion will be ended. This is absolutely astronomical relief for my viewers. So, step one. Under fifth stimulus, everyone's benefits will be raised up one time, lifetime, just a one-time lift. Who is this? You. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, SSA or multiple benefits, all your benefits will be raised up one time. Then you have learned from this channel that every December they apply a new benchmark, and that a benchmark you've learned is always for next year's benefits. That's number one. Number two, you've learned that under fifth stimulus, they proposed that the new benchmark will be different economic indicator, it will now be inflation. Number 3, you've learned from this channel that inflation is going up and will be higher later this year. And number 4, you've learned from this channel that Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, says that inflation reached its highest price point by December. Wow, that's wonderful news, because that's right when they apply your benchmark. This is astronomical, because they're applying your benchmark when inflation's at its highest rate. You can't ask for something better than this. The only question left is, how high is the inflation rate? So we have had a lot of economic data, and we'll just watch it over the next few weeks. But we saw on last Friday the payroll numbers released, and it showed that job creation, red hot, higher than expected. Inflation. We saw Wednesday, lumber falling 40%, biggest drop in history in 1 month. Inflation. That's as housing starts were going up strongly. Inflation. Then the week before, the PPI, the CPI, both on fire. Inflation. So what is it signaling? Well, Wall Street's looking at about potentially a 10% inflation rate for December. If they are right, then your benefits will be raised up one time. Then they'll apply the benchmark. And if it is 10%, your benefits will be raised up 10% lifetime. Now, that's not just next year, it's lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. If the inflation rate next year is 2%, then you'll be at plus 2, plus 10%. If the inflation rate after that, the year is 1%, then you're at plus 1, plus 10%. That's wonderful news. The other provisions that they're going to do in SSI and STI reform are also wonderful news. They're going to move the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can have more than $3,000 in hand. That's going to go away. Now you'll be able to have some stimulus checks in your hand and maybe some Crayola crowns, not model blue. It's not murder blue. It's not muddle blue. They're going to remove the income tax cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and also stay on benefits. It's going to go away. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to end. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You'll no longer fear loss of benefits and will no longer lose benefits. It's not retroactive, so it's from the date forward. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will no longer fear loss of benefits. And there you go. That is fifth stimulus. But if you're in the live chat or you're watching this video and you see people posting that they're getting $5,000 from this channel, $10,000, $20,000, and you haven't gotten anything and you're wondering, wait a second, where is all this money? I never knew there was all this money. Well, consider becoming a member, because members are delivered daily from me a breakdown of all the big money that is available for them. When third stimulus passed, there was thousands, tens of thousands of dollars for you, and it's still there. I immediately made videos as soon as third stimulus was heading to the finish line, said, get ready, $1,400 stimulus check, but also get ready, Purple Hawk, pounds, because there's tens of thousands of dollars for you to get. Nearly every viewer of this channel qualifies for this money. Go get it. And that's why those Purple Hawks have been so successful. If you see people in the live chat with an emoji next to their name, which is a Purple Hawk, and they're posting numbers, it means they listened, they read, and they got the numbers. Congratulations to them. So how do you become a member? The link's at the top of the chat. It's also in the pinned comment. It says join under the video as well. Consider joining as a Purple Hawk, because you can get tens of thousands of dollars delivered of information daily of the tens of thousands of dollars that you could apply for under third stimulus. It also shows you what's on the fourth and fifth stimulus. With that goes into our final part of your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 that's starting right now. You know, it's important to know that the voting process and how they vote on it and how it gets to the finish line is a learning process. And I have certainly made a gazillion videos explaining how votes are passed, how bills become law. But sometimes you got to repeat things. And I think I need to say that again today, because I have some very nice viewers. I have a very nice viewer who sends me all these cute, emojis on Instagram and happy purple day and all these nice things. But then she sent me a question today. She said, so when does the check arrive? Oh, what do you mean, when does it arrive? What date does it arrive? So I want you to understand things, and let's go back to the basics. First, for there to be a check, there has to be a law. We don't have a law yet. For there to be a law, there has to be a vote on a bill. There has not been a vote on a bill. And for there to be a bill, for there to be a vote on a bill, there has to be a final bill ready to be voted on. What makes the situation different than any previous stimulus story is that this one has to have two bills. It has to have a bipartisan bill, and it has to have two recon bills, the recon procedural and the recon substantive. I'm going to explain that in a second. So there are some people that sort of just want to skip steps and just, it's this there. It just appeared. Wow, fascinating. We just sent out checks. There's no law for it. We just sent out a check. That's not how things work. It just surprises me. That's the first thing. So let's go over those steps. Let's go backwards to the present. First, there has to be a vote. Now, you have not had the. I made a gazillion videos with the 6-step, with the 9-step voting process. Starts in the House, goes to the Senate. Well, we know now that this one is going from the Senate to the House, but it's still about 9 steps of voting. It's just going the other direction. It's not one vote. So I see some people saying, what day is the vote? It's not one vote. It's not one vote. You got 9, and you got 2 bills now. So you have 9 votes on 2 bills, which is almost 18 votes. You have to have the House subcommittee. You have to have the Senate subcommittee. You have to have the Senate floor. You have to have the House floor. You have to have the president. And then you have to repeat it again because that was recon procedural. Then you have to repeat it for recon substantive. Then you have to do the same thing for the bipartisan. So it's not just one vote. Hey, let's just come in and vote. Okay, we're done. So I saw some comments from one viewer yesterday saying something like, oh, so they didn't vote on July 4th. Maybe we'll just finish it tomorrow and finish on July 5th and sign it on July 5th. No, I've made a gazillion videos about this, so I don't want to repeat too much. But no, there's a lot of votes. You got 2 branches of Congress. For something to become a law, it has to be passed by both houses of Congress. It has to be passed by the House. It has to be passed by the Senate. It has to be signed by the president. That's not one vote. That's more than one vote. It's more than one person also. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you literally have 3 bills you have to pass. You have to pass the recon procedural, the recon substantive, and the bipartisan. I made a gazillion videos about the recon procedural and the recon substantive, the 9-vote process. So I don't want to think I have to repeat that now. Second, here is what we're hearing today in some of the publications, is that the issue that is causing the vote to not start yet is not the recon. It's the bipartisan. Yeah. So the bipartisan, remember, was divested from the recon 2 Wednesdays ago. The day it was divested and given its own path, there was no bill at that point. There was just a proposal. There was just these senators meeting with the president saying, let's spin off bipartisan with roads and bridges. And here's what we propose for roads and bridges. The president said, good, it's spun off. That was 2 Wednesdays ago. You can't write a legislation that's trillions of dollars in 4 days. Now, how long it takes, I don't know. How long does it take? Now, there are a series of articles that say they think they can get this bipartisan written in the next few weeks, but they can get it done this month. There's a lot of articles that are saying they think they can get it done. Again, not my representation. I'm not writing it. I could get it written for you in a day. I mean, let's be frank. I can get it written in a day. They're not me. Trust me, I'm certainly not them. But they think they go slower. They go very slow. And so the reason why it has not started voting is the bipartisan part. Now, you and I may say, well, wait a second. You explained it's very important that the recon be called for a vote before the bipartisan. Absolutely. So why not just start the recon voting and then get to the bipartisan a month from now when they get finished writing? That's what I would say. But there is enough of the Democrats who say they have to come really very close together. So while recon goes before bipartisan, it can't be, a month apart. It can be a day apart or 2 days apart, but not like a month apart. So that would not look like you're doing them concurrently. It would look like one really has nothing to do with the other one. So that's really not the spirit. So by divesting this, that's what's happening. Next, calling the vote is so critical, and you have to call the vote the right way. There's some people who are not really subscribers, they're not really members, who hear words and then they don't they don't remember the entire sentence, or they don't want to hear the rest of the sentence. They heard Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi say 1,000 times, 1,000 times, the final vote for the recon will be done by July 4th. They said it 1,000 times. That means the recon. It means the final vote. It does not mean the 9-step voting process starts on July 4th. It means it's done by July 4th, and not on July 4th, by July 4th. That means it becomes law by July 4th. Obviously, they didn't get it done. Obviously, they didn't get it done. So the next answer is, what is the mindset of a person watching the process? Congress moves slow, as one viewer says. Congress moves slow. So the fact that they didn't get the recon done by a final vote by July 4th should not mean you sit back and say, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. They don't care. They're dragging their feet. No, it's Congress. They move slowly. Now, here on the other side of the path, it is important to know that these people are all the same mindset, thank goodness. They all want this to pass, and they all want it to get done. And we have the comments from Jalapa and Pelosi, which I'll read on Evenings LA, about how they want to get this done. But you have to ensure, one, you keep on pushing Purple Power. You have to ensure that they do get those stimulus checks in there, that they don't lapse and take them out, or change their mind at the 11th hour and take it out. You have to ensure that you keep on pushing Purple Power, they get that stimulus checks in there. Second, you got to push them to get voted. Number three, you got to push them to keep on writing. Remember 2020? It's not LALATE Write the Bill. There was a whole movement this channel had called LALATE Write the Bill, where the legislators were not moving fast on their writing. And I said, I'll write the darn bill. Fly me to DC. I'll have the bill written for you in 24 hours. What takes you so long to write? What type of computer are you using? So you need to push for both the stimulus checks, getting this to the finish line, and writing and getting the vote done. The president has a quote overnight in which he says he wants the vote to start right away. Well, it's not his call to say if there's no bill to vote on for the roads and bridges. That's a little bit his fault, because he had those meetings with Shelley Moore Capito for 4 weeks, and she never had anything written as a bill format. Never. So, I mean, as the person on the other side of the table, you can negotiate as much as you want, but if you have a deal coming, when is Shelley Moore Capito going to write it? Ultimately, the deal talks fell apart, and this bipartisan came from another group. So you got to get it done. To recap, they need to write the legislation for that bipartisan. We have 3 bills that have to be passed: recon procedural, recon substantive, and recon and bipartisan. Finally, a very personal message. There's so much I could say, and trust me, I'm not saying it. You saw my finger in the live chat yesterday on afternoons, and my finger last night in the evenings LA. If you see my finger and you see what I'm doing, you know what's happening. But here's a message for you, and I'm going to be very, very polite about it. This channel started in April of 2020. People were losing their businesses. The law, LAW, said EIDL grants are to be paid within 3 days, $10,000. People needed the $10,000. They were losing their homes, their cars, and everything. There was a law passed. This is not like waiting for a vote. There was a law passed that said there's to get $10,000 within 3 days. No one got a penny within 3 days. No one got $10,000 in 3 days. No one in the entire United States, not just this channel, no one. I had viewers who fought tooth and nail with me day in, day out, from what we called a March 30th vortex all the way into July of 2020, fighting tooth and nail to get even $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 that was back due. The law said they were to get paid. They had patience, and they got paid. I had Shervin, who was one of the real first inspirations of this channel when it was new. He was offered something measly, like $5,000. He lived in his car for 2 weeks to ensure that he fought for every penny he got. He won. He got $15,000. I had countless viewers who were offered the incorrect amount and were one step out the door on the street, and they fought and they got $25,000. I have so many stories from 2020 where people wanted to just give up. I have no sympathy for a person who comes into a video and says, it's July 5th, I gave up. Yesterday was July 4th. You gave up after 24 hours? Well, you are, yeah. So I had viewers who held on and fought and got every darn penny. So if you want to give up after 24 hours, there's a door. There's a door. Go ahead. Because that's not how America works. Congress moves slow. Congress moves very slow. And if you don't have the strength to 3 stimulus checks down the road to wait 24 hours for a vote and jump in the live chat and say, oh, they're going to vote on it tomorrow. We'll get the check on July 6th. Trust me, that is not the spirit of this show. I want you to get rent. Finally, I have viewers who are sending messages saying, I really need the stimulus check. I'm about to be, I can't make rent. You need to be getting rent from this channel. You need to be getting utilities from this channel. This is why Purple, which was its own series on this channel but is now merged into the show, was such a hit, because I got people rent, utilities. I said to you in 2020, you're not going to be dependent on the date in which a check is arriving. You're going to get cash ahead of time, rent, utilities, all this money. I don't do that part of the video just because I want to run time on the clock. It's because I want you to get this money. So you go get this money right now. It's your money to get. And I know this video is going longer than expected. So with that, I'll have more for you on Evenings in LA. Wow, 15 minutes. And with that, stay with this video. It automatically take you into Evenings LA starting up next. And as always, have a beautiful day. Subscribe, 400,000 subscribers. Be kind to one another. Be respectful to one another. Push and don't lose patience. Don't roll over because it's been 24 hours. For goodness sake. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. I'll see you next on Evenings LA at 5 p.m. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.